Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on mounting that spare tire underneath the decking in between these two trailer ramps. We're going to mount it under the deck just to keep it out of the way and sort of invisible, but there's other reasons for that. Normally the hitch that we're using, or the mounting plate that we're using here, would have been mounted to the frame of the trailer, but if we mount it anywhere around the normal part of the frame, it'll get in the way of putting a railing kit around. And if we mount it up here to the front, then it will cause sort of an uneven distribution of weight on the front side of the A's. Plus, in a later part in this series, we're going to be using this cavity here for some better purposes, so I don't want the tire to be in my way. So to mount this in between here, we're going to use some strut channel. This specific strut channel is Superstrut. You can buy Superstrut at your favorite home center. They also have another brand of that's popular, Unistrut. You can buy that at like Gray Bar and stuff. But for this case, we're using Superstrut brand. Not that it really matters, but we're going to cut some of these to, I want to say 24.5 inches from point to point so that we can brace them down. We're going to use some of our leftover 1.25" strap to lock them down. And I can just use the existing bolt hole that's here and here, which is already conveniently basically centered, to allow our mounting plate to be tightened down in between the two things, perfectly in the middle and pulled up. And then why are we mounting it closer back here instead of in the front? Weight distribution. I want the weight of the tire hanging down to be closer to the axles themselves for weight distribution purposes, but also the closer you get to the front, if you're pulling the trailer on some uneven surfaces, you're more likely to not hit an uneven surface with your spare tire if you're closer to your axle position. So that's why we're going to mount it back here. I've alluded to, I guess in talking here, that we are in a series. There is a trailer build out series for this Harbor Freight 1,720 pound foldable trailer. Please check the channel, like and subscribe for those other parts of the series. But the other parts of the series are things like changing out the front hitch so that we can have a jack stand integrated and built into it, plus it's a better grade. Changing out these wheels to be some 13-inch wheels with larger hub studs for better weight distribution and just a better tire. Mounting these Undermount trailer ramps for storage and just convenience. This one I don't think is posted yet, but building out the marine grade plywood decking and bolting it down, that's coming soon. And then the light kit. We upgraded all the lights on here to be LEDs, flush mounted, so they don't get bashed by something and broken. All right, let's get to doing this. It should be a quick video. Remember, I already said 24.5 inches, need 2 of these of the Superstrut, and let's go out there and cut it. Okay, so we're gonna cut the Superstrut to 24.5 inches between point and point. So we want just the open part of the Superstrut here, and we want the open part of the Superstrut here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that, and then we're going to move to another section and do the same thing, 24.5, and then that way it'll fit in the channel, it'll have a little bit of wiggle room, and then when we lock it in with a washer, it won't be a problem. So let's do that now. Okay. So as you can see, we've done that and done that. So now it's locked in and we can put it in there, and that's 24.5 inches. And by the way, don't forget your safety glasses. Okay, we're done cutting out there. Here's our brackets. They're already pre-painted because I painted them out there after I cut them. And now we're getting back. You probably don't want to watch me paint. I will make a mention on something. As you can see, I cut in the video out there, I cut these slightly, I just cut the tips of the ovals off. I'm sure my electrician friends will have commented in the comments by now. Please don't cut off at a non-uniform point. The problem is while I did cut these at a uniform point, I can't, where these intersect, if I had cut it here, then I would have to drill a hole right here, and then I would just have a hole right next to a hole. They do make strut that is not pre-cut out. I just chose this because it was available at the store, and I knew when I stuck these in, like so, there would be very little wiggle to them. And the idea is that if I wanted to put a bolt here, I could, and it would lock in place and it wouldn't go anywhere. But you usually do not want to cut your unistrut across the top. It triggers some people. So what we're going to do now is get this in here, this one in here. Going to mount our bracket up underneath with 4 bolts, and then we're going to put some studs in here from in the previous part of the video where we stole the shorter Dorman wheel studs. We're going to put 2 wheel studs in here from that are shorter, and we're going to mount our wheel up. I'm going to cut the video here for a second while I figure out exactly where I want to put this so that the wheel is perfectly, I guess, centered, probably about right there. And then we'll come back after we get to bolting this together. Okay, so we've gone around and messed with this just a little bit to try to get the mounting plate, which is, you know, diagonal, shifted to be close as we can to dead center between these 2 rail positions. And then I just put some bolts in here loosely with some washers. We're going to sync this up, and then what we have to do is fix this, right, so that it can be lifted. So what we're going to do to fix that is we're going to take these straps, like I was talking about. I'm going to put the strap in here, and then we're going to bolt it through that bolt hole there, and then this will not, you know, come up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down real quick, and then move on to drilling those out dead center. So let's tighten these up. Okay, those are now all tightened in, and we just have to cut our straps and bolt them down. So let's go get over to cutting some straps. Okay, we have it measured now. These straps are what remains of the 1¼ by 3/16 strap that we use on the other parts of the trailer. These are 7½ inches in length. So I have 2 of them, and I've measured them, put a dot in the center of each. We're going to center punch it. We're going to pre-drill it with a small hole, and then we're going to make the hole larger with a step bit. So, oh, I should mention, don't forget your safety glasses. So, let's go ahead and center punch it. Okay, now let's take a drill it. Ooh, watch out. That bit did not like to stay in there. Oh, it's for the blooper reel. All right, let's clean it out. I think that's right. Let's check it. No, needs a little bit more. That'll do. So there's our first one. And let's do the second one. Okay, have the second one mounted up. Gonna go ahead and punch it. Nice punch. Gonna drill it this time with a drill that has a chuck instead of the speed chuck. We'll use a real chuck. Change our bit. Put in this one and drill it out. That's about right. Yep, that's right. And then just loosen it up so we can check our work. And check our work. It's fine. Okay, now we're going to use these on the trailer. And for the record, this is it doesn't have the speed check lock in, so as you can see, it doesn't have the lock in, so fell out. Yeah. Safety first, guys, or third. Okay, we now have the strap bolted down across. I used an M1060 millimeter bolt with some washers to get that cinched down nice and tight. And then on this side, same thing, nice and tight. And now we have to put posts in to the bracket here. So we have these extra stud posts from the wheels from the previous video where we already where we popped these short ones out and we put long ones in. And you can see if you put it in there, it doesn't really fit. But if you flatten out a side, because we're not going to use these as stud posts anymore for wheels, it'll fit right on in there and it won't spin, right? And then you can pull the wheel up and lock it in with the studs. So to get that filed down, so that I had two flat sides, so I got a flat side and another flat side, right? We used a file and we marked it. So you'll see there's a little black, let's see if we can get that to focus, a little black line there and a little black line on the other side. That's perfectly flat on the other side. We're going to go take it over to the bench vise and file it down. Okay, what I've done here is put two nuts on here just and tighten them together just so this won't spin when I file it. But you can see the two black lines. There's a black line that ends here to here. So we want to take this and make it flat. So we're just going to take a file and we're going to hone that down until it's flat. And then we'll flip it over to the other side where I've got the little black marks and do the same thing. So take a file and file it down. Okay. See if that's good to be good enough. As you can see, it's flat in between those two marks. So now we're going to spin it over. We got a black mark and a black mark. We'll lock it in. And do the same thing. Okay. All right. Let's go give it a try. Okay, so here it is with its two flat sides. And drop it on in there. Fits just fine. Doesn't rotate, so we're good to go. So now we just need to pull the wheel up, or if there were a deck on here, you'd be pushing it up while you're underneath of it. And we're going to put two lug nuts on there, and it'll be mounted. And I'm not using the other holes because this is a universal mount, so you can't use all four holes because they're drilled in a certain manner to fit 4 lug wheels, 5 lug wheels, etc. So these two lugs will fit this wheel like right here and here, well, right here and here, and hold it up there pretty decently. So I'm going to mount it up. All right, so here it is, all mounted up into there. It's got space on either side. I wasn't necessarily a fan of this bolt. Sure, that bolt's about an inch off from the wheel, but just want to make sure it didn't rub against the sidewall of the spare, so I put that little piece of foam in there. If we wanted to check to see how much clearance we have, we got like a foot of clearance before the ground. The whole trailer is only about 19 inches from the ground, so I think we did okay with this install. I'm gonna go ahead and spin the camera around and we'll finish up. Thank you for watching the install of the Undermount spare tire to this Harbor Freight trailer that we're working on. As you can see, it's very sturdy, the wheel doesn't move. We're doing good there. If you're just coming into this series kind of midway, we've done a lot of stuff to this trailer, so check out some of the other videos on the channel. Like and subscribe if you like the content. I think the next video in the series is going to be finishing up the decking here that we're missing, because I wanted to get this in before I did the decking. This decking is going to be marine grade plywood that we're going to mount to here. I'll just kind of go over how you get the holes to line up and all that other stuff. So I guess see you on the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Thanks for your time today.